Hello, my name is Doris Onoha, and today I will be presenting on using the self-care deficit theory created by Dorothy Orem to combat obesity. Who's Dorothy Orem? Dorothy Orem is a theorist. She was born in 1914 in Baltimore, US. She earned her diploma at Providence Hospital, Washington, D.C. She obtained her BSN in 1939 and her master's in nursing ED in 1945. She died in 2007. Now, first you might be asking yourself, what is the self-care deficit theory? Well, I have understood it to be Orem's conceptualization of self-care. In this theory, Orem's focus is on improving quality of nursing in hospital and also puts responsibility on people to be self-reliant and responsible for their self-care. This theory consists of three constituent theories, and those are as follows: the theory of self-care, the theory of self-care deficit, and lastly, the theory of nursing system. The theory of self-care introduces people participating in activities that promote and contribute to maintaining a healthy, well-being lifestyle. The theory of self-care deficit is the ability for an individual to engage in self-care. So for this presentation, I will focus heavily on the theory of self-care and make the connection between this theory and weight management. I decided to emphasize on the focus of self-care because I saw it as a critical factor to contribute to the connection between self-care and weight management. As it relates to childhood obesity in the Hispanic community. In this constituent theory, there are 5 concepts that are used to develop the theory of weight management. The first theory is, of course, self-care. As defined by Pinkett et al. 2014 in her study Toward a Middle Range Theory of Weight Management, self-care is a human regulatory function that is learned and voluntary behavior that are practiced to meet self-care requisites necessary to maintain life, health, and well-being. Essentially, the act of individual performing self-care on him or herself is engaging in activities that focus on well-being of an individual with an emphasis on the mental, physical, and emotional state. This leads us to the second theory, which are self-care requisites. These are known as actions needed to bring about internal and external conditions that can maintain human functioning. Some examples include food, water, and exercise. The following theory is known as self-care agency. This is defined as the ability to take actions needed to maintain a state of wholeness and integrity. The last 2 theories are basic conditioning factors and health. These 2 factors go hand in hand and contribute to the achievement of self-care. Now that we are all informed of what the self-care deficit theory, I would like to discuss the connection between this theory and weight management as it relates to childhood obesity in the Hispanic community. In her study, Pinkett et al. Introduces a new theory called the middle range theory, which should derive from the self-care deficit theory. This middle range theory is the understanding of a person's health behavior in order to prevent the onset of obesity-related disorders. In order to prevent the onset of obesity, one needs to explore the cultural, environmental, psychological factors that influence a person's weight management behavior. As mentioned earlier, the connection between weight management and self-care comes in focus on weight management behaviors, weight management agency, and weight contextual factors and weight control. Weight management behaviors are behaviors necessary for caloric balance, including regular physical activity such as work, sports, leisure time, and eating behaviors pattern. Furthermore, Weight management agency is the ability to engage in weight management behaviors. As defined by Pinkett, weight contextual factors are defined as factors that influence the capability of weight management as well as influence the individual requisite related to weight. Weight contextual factors include age, gender, comorbidity, social, cultural orientation, socio-economic and environmental resource factors that provide some indication of neighborhood resources for physical activity and access to healthy food. Weight contextual factors influence or conditions a person's weight management agency. The focus on this concept allows us to take a look at physical activity, eating behaviors, beliefs about personal weight, and overall motivation for weight management. To hone this story in with my CSP of combating childhood obesity in the Hispanic community, I will focus on the concept developed in the middle range theory. To refresh your memories, my CSP is focused on using nutrition and exercise education to combat childhood obesity in the Hispanic community. With this middle range theory, I would like to put an emphasis on the cultural, environmental, and psychological factors discussed earlier that led to children becoming obese. Culture plays a huge contribution to childhood obesity. In the cultural aspect, I would like to put a focus on body image development, child feeding practices, and the affordable of food. Furthermore, the environment that children are in plays a role in obesity as well. As the focus is on children, the main environment Hispanic children are inside from their home is a school. Since this is the case, I believe it is important to implement programs geared towards informing children of healthy ways to eat and also changing their school diet. These changes are in connection to the practice of self-care in that it promotes activities that contribute to the well-being of the child. Lastly, the last factor is psychological. It has been found that the psychological state of a child can also contribute to obesity. Children can have low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, the list goes on. In order to combat this, I believe it is important to develop programs that focus on maintaining a healthy mental health. In conclusion, we can use Orem's self-care theory to combat childhood obesity by focusing on the concept of self-care and activities that promote a healthy well-being and lifestyle. My handout on weight management. As you can see, childhood obesity is 47%. And also obesity can lead to all these problems here, such as cancer, sleep apnea, diabetes, heart disease, GERD, high blood pressure. So as a teen, what causes teens to become overweight is listed here, and what parents, because parents plays an important role, what can they do as a parents to help with the weight management of their child. This is my reference. Thank you very much.